Premier League is about to begin, people. And guess what? Guess what? I'm ready for it. I'm absolutely ready for it because one thing is for sure Manchester United is going to be playing a competitive game. And if there's anything that I love so much, is watching Manchester United do a big one in the Premier League, show people that they are here to stay, and the sleeping giant has finally arisen. Guess what? The truth about this situation is that we are here to give you guys our predictions. Our predictions here. This is going to be focused on data. It's going to be focused on transfers. It's going to be focused on who the coach is, the playing style, and honestly, how we are going to see it using things to kind of predict this situation. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to this idea and when it comes to this one, Manchester United and the Premier League, it is going to be difficult because we need to make sure, right? We need to make sure that we are being fair. We need to make sure that we are honestly giving every single person a fair chance to them making this thing happen. You get? And then when we do all that, then we know for sure that we have done our job and making sure that everything is going to be all right. You get me? So first things first, right? First things first, we got to make sure that everybody in here is absolutely jamming up and is ready to see how we rock out to the predictions. You get to see how we rock out to the predictions. So make sure you guys are ready for this one. We are going to be starting with the relegated side. And with this relegated side, we are definitely going with Burnley, Sunderland, and Leeds. This is going to be my predicted relegated side. I know this is quite tough because these are two people that literally went up and literally are about to come down. And that situation, in that vein of form and in that vein of every single thing in this situation, I think it has to do with um just a sad state that the truth about this situation is sorry, nothing happened. So yes, so in this situation, it definitely has to do with the likes of them not just having the experience, them not understanding of what is going to require. And so I think it's going to be a tough goal for them going into the season. I honestly think, and it's quite sad to say, but yes, the team that come up are going to be the teams that are going to be going down. And then let's go a little bit further. We are going to be going from 17th to 11th. And in this situation, I'm going to definitely be starting with Wolverhampton Wanderers, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Brentford, and Everton. Yes, I know that was a mouthful, but this is basically what I have going on right now. And in this situation, why did I put Wolverhampton? It is a simple fact that they have lost a lot of talent, and the identity, honestly, is just lost for me in terms of Wolves. I think they have a really good manager. They have a really good manager, but in my mind, I truly believe that they do not have the talent enough to have a really good. Now, they do have a talent to stay above Leeds, Sunderland, and Burnley. But I think they are going to have a really torrid season that would definitely not play well in their favor. And next, we are going to be having Fulham. Why do I say Fulham? I think their team is a little bit older than I would like. You understand? The creativity is still left under the arms of Iwobi and Pereira. I think they needed more influx of players into the team for me to be comfortable in knowing that they are going to be in the Premier League and having a good season. Usually they are perennial, but they really have a good coach. We have to add that. They really have a really good coach in Marco Silva. I just think in the third season of him coaching at a particular club, he tends to experiment too much. He tends to try to start making things happen instead of being consistent in what has gotten them the success that they have gotten so far. So in this situation, we are going to keep going. In 15th place, we are going with Crystal Palace. I know this is not what people want to hear. I know this is not what people, and this is a shocker to a lot of people, but the idea that they are going to be playing in the Conference League and not having a big of a squad to compete in two huge competitions in the Premier League and in the Conference League, I think would absolutely have them struggling, especially with the fact that they might be losing Gehi and also Iberichi Eze. I think it's definitely going to be a tough time and a tough goal for both teams to absolutely find a way into the top half of the Premier League. And then we are looking at Nottingham Forest. This situation is a tough one because Nottingham Forest are going to be playing in the Europa League. Like I said, they have lost Anthony Elanga. And I know a lot of people will think that, oh, Nottingham Forest losing Anthony Elanga. The truth about this is, we all know Nuno Espirito Santo, the way he played last season, surprised every single person. It did surprise every single person. But without further ado, every single person, every coach now has um, film on Nottingham Forest. We have film on Nottingham Forest, and every single person worth their weight in gold will be able to figure out how to stop Nottingham Forest, and that is what I'm banking on in this Nottingham Forest pick for the 14th place in the Premier League. And then we go to Bournemouth. This is one of the saddest thing because I love Ariola. I love Ariola as a coach in person because he is a brilliant mind. When he was playing for Athletic Bilbao, I also looked at him as someone that has the IQ for football that was just second to none. But the truth about it is, he has lost a lot of players. The back five, the back five that he usually plays with, and I'm not saying defense, I'm also including the goalkeeper. You looked at Zabani has gone to PSG. You looked at what's his name? You looked at Dean Holstein, who was a talisman for them in the back, has gone to Real Madrid. You look at Milos Kerkesh, has gone to Liverpool. They have one more person that has been there, that was there last season in the successful season that they had, that is still there. You also look at Kepa Azire Balaga, has gone to Arsenal. And yes, he was a lone player, but the truth about it is that back five was one of the reasons why they did not concede a lot of chances. They did not concede a lot of chances. Now, the beautiful thing about this situation is that they have all their attacking line players and their attacking lineup with the likes of Clovet, Semenyo, Wataru, all those players are still there. You understand? All those players are still there, and all those players are absolutely there to give them the solidity that they would need in order for them not to go down. You understand? In order for them not to go down, in order for them not to have a problem in staying up in the Premier League, those attacking players will give them those solidity. You understand? But they're going to have so much problems in the defense. And I believe that just because they won't have the amount of players to gel, they won't have the players that they need to gel quickly. You understand? They just wouldn't have that. And then let's go to the 12th position, and that is Brentford. Brentford lost their talisman and is going to be losing the second guy in terms of their scoring tally in Wissa. They probably are losing him to Newcastle. And in that point, I think Brentford are going to be having a difficult season next season. Just because of the idea of them losing Umbuemo, a 20 goal man, and losing Wissa, probably to Newcastle. He is still there, but he probably will be moving to Newcastle if everything goes well, if the dominoes of strikers actually fall. And I think that's too many players being lost in one season, in one transfer window. You understand? And then we get to Everton. Everton in this part is the truth about this situation is I actually think that they are in a really good vein of form. And they are going to have a really brilliant season because of what Moyes has been able to do in the transfer window. David Moyes the bounce was real last season. With a full preseason and Clara Rose, they are tossing, they're literally tossing away 1-0s. You understand? They are going to be comfortable in this in the middle comfort of the zone. You understand? It's not going to be a situation where they're struggling in the relegation battle. No. David Moyes, if there's something that he knows how to do best, is make sure that His team are well drilled. If there's anything that we want to know is that David Moyes will absolutely make sure that his team are well drilled. You understand? And well drilled in a mindset that every single person knows his roles. And guess what? They have also been able to bring a talented midfielder in Drewsby Hall. As they have been able to bring Drewsby Hall in, they will be able to get, they have also been able to get a talented winger in Jack Grealish from Manchester City. This is a place that he's going there to enjoy himself. He's going there to understand and to just be able to live the way he was playing football before he went to Manchester City. And if he can bring a glimpse of what he did while he was in Aston Villa, he would absolutely take over. He would absolutely take over in my mind. You understand? He would absolutely take over. And that is one thing that I'm absolutely saying today is that it's going to be brilliant to see it going forward. To see Grealish having the ability to just play football. And that's why I think Everton are going to be 11th place. And then now let's look at the mid table. Let's look at the mid table. This is where you actually see it's going to be really tight. It is going to be really tight in this table right here. And based on everything, I'm going for Brentford at 10th place. The reason why I'm going for Brentford at 10th place is just because they know how to win football games. Their style of play is brilliant. Their style of play is brilliant. And in that style of play, they definitely will have an opportunity to win really good games. Now, the truth about it is they are literally teetering on losing their best player. They're teetering on losing their best player. And if there's anything I've known is that Brighton are always prepared in losing players like Carlos Baleba, Cucurella, João Pedro, Sanchez. They understand how to lose players and not lose their ability to be good as a team. You understand? They just understand that. And that's one of the reasons why I say they are really going to be 10th place and in a very tight situation. But because it's a small squad, because they do not have the depth that I see other teams above this team actually have, that's the reason why they are in that position. And in ninth place, I'm going with West Ham. Now, why am I going ninth place with West Ham? I'm not really sure. But I really believe that Callum Wilson going to West Ham is definitely going to do them a little bit of good. I understand that Graham Potter, a lot of people do not rate Graham Potter, especially after what happened in Chelsea. But I actually rate him as a coach. I saw what he did with Brighton, and I know he's going to be able to do better moving forward. They have talent in that team. They have Bowen. They lost Mohamed Kudus, I know that. But they went in and brought a lot of talent. Their defense is absolutely strong. They understand of set pieces is going to be brilliant for West Ham. And that's why I put them in ninth. And of course, you're going to have Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Tottenham Hotspur, respectively. So ninth, eighth, and seventh, and of course, sixth. Sorry, eighth, seventh, and sixth. Why do I say Newcastle is going to be eighth? The truth about this is Newcastle have had a torrid time in the transfer window. And that torrid time, especially compounded with the fact that Alexander Isak is not going to be playing for them, whether he is still at Newcastle or not. That fact right there is going to be difficult because that dressing room is going to be unsettled. The dressing room is going to be unsettled. And if the dressing room is unsettled, Eddie Howe is in trouble. Eddie Howe is in trouble. You know, the funny thing about this situation is that even if Alexander Isak decides to come back, I actually think that will be worse. Because you will be getting a player that is going to be reserved. You will be getting a player that will be going in 80% instead of 100 in tackles. You'll be getting a player that every single person understands doesn't want to play for Newcastle anymore. And that alone, that to me personally, is going to be a player that doesn't want to go into tackles, doesn't want to literally put his head where he's meant to put it, or where people will be scared to put it in order for him to get a goal. And that is going to be difficult. That right there is going to be difficult. I truly believe that they need to let him go and they need to go reinvest that money while the transfer window is still open in teams and in strikers that would absolutely run for the badge. I know their colors are red, black and white, but they should stop allowing people to walk over them. They need to stop allowing people to walk over them because it is not good whatsoever. Not good, one bit. And then you look at Aston Villa. FFP has absolutely, I mean, PSR has absolutely shot all the targets that they wanted to get this summer. But the brilliance of Unai Emery is definitely going to keep them in the top half of the table. And of course, Tottenham Hotspur. I think the arrival of Thomas Frank is truly going to be a revolution that they would absolutely enjoy. And because this is the first season, because these players are getting to understand Thomas Frank's rules and regulations in terms of him being a coach, I think they are going to be in sixth. Now, don't get me wrong, I honestly believe that they are going to be fighting for the top four. I believe they have the squad to do it. With the inclusion of Kudus, the permanent transfer of Matthias Stel and Dantu, the way they played against PSG, the way they were so difficult to break down, all these things literally tell me that they are going to be a force to reckon with in the Premier League. And why do I say they are going to be sixth? Because they still do not have the bench, they still do not have the depth. They still do not have a striker that will be able to give them 25 goals a season. I know they have Dominic Solanke, but they have absolutely sold Heung-min Son, who was the heart and soul of Tottenham Hotspur. So who are they going to bring in? There are links to the likes of Eze, there's links to the likes of Savinio, but they need to get this deal done sooner than later. So Thomas Frank will be able to get these players in and start telling them how he wants them to play. And that's where I think the situation is going to be lying. You understand? And this is the shocker. This is going to be the leap of the season. This is going to be the most improved team of the season, and that is Manchester United. Why do I say that? Because of what Manchester United were able to do in the transfer window. A lot of people do, like, let me even say this, and I know it's going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Manchester United finishing 15th is not a true, it's not a true depiction of what this team is. It's not a true depiction of what Manchester United is. But they also did an evaluation. They spoke to Amorim, they did the due diligence that they needed to do, and they realized that we needed to score goals. And what did they do? They went in and absolutely dominated in changing the front three. They changed the entire front three for Manchester United. With the arrival of Brano Buemo, Matheus Cunha, and Benjamin Sheshko, with that arrival, I truly believe within those three, we have 35 goals by themselves. Within those three, we have at least 35 goals, if not 45. Ethan says, oh, they say this every season. I'm serious. I'm serious. It is going to be a different ball game. I truly believe that Manchester United are going to get this running. The defense is good enough. We have depth. In our defense alone, we have two players in every position. And this is also adding the fact that we play three center defenders. Barring no long-term injury, Manchester United will be able to compete for top four. Now we will not be able to succeed in getting top four. We will come short because we still have a lot of things to do in the midfield. Now, don't get me wrong, the links of Manchester United going for Carlos Baleba, the dream signing of the double pivot of Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. By the way, that was reported that that is what Ruben Amorim wants. Those two things, if it happens this summer, I can guarantee you, and of course, this is speculation and this is a prediction, but I can predict to you, I can tell you for sure, if we get those two in, which we'll probably not get, but even if we get one of them, I'm telling you that we challenge for the top four. We challenge for the top four. Ruben Amorim has been able to get into this situation, tell the people, get the transfer window that he wants, get the backing, get the preseason. He would be able, and these players now understand what they need to do in this situation. They understand what they need to do. And in my mind, that is what we are going to be seeing. Manchester United finishing fifth. But of course, we have waited for this situation the entire time. So without further ado, let's give the top four. And I know a lot of people are going to be shocked by who I put in the first position. But I want you guys to understand, I just feel that it might be time. I just feel that him focusing on the little details now might just be it. The transfer window for them was absolutely brilliant. They brought in a striker, they brought in a midfielder, they brought in a defender, and they're looking to bring in more people in the wings. And I know based on the description, you can be like, it might be Manchester City, it might be Liverpool, it might be Arsenal. Because those were the things that those three teams were able to do in strengthening the team. But guess what? The champions of England is going to be the champions of England is going to be Arsenal. The champions of England is going to be Arsenal. And that is my top four. That right there is my top four. In fourth place is going to be Chelsea. Why do I put them there? I think they are a very talented side. A very, very talented side. A side that honestly shocks every single person when they play. But I still think that they are lacking a little bit of experience. That experience in the back line, the injuries that they're already facing in the back line is a problem. But I think the front line, the idea of Esteval coming in, the arrival of Bino Gittens, the potential arrival of Garnacho, you understand? Liam Delap, João Pedro, and then in midfield, Cole Palmer, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. All these teams right here, all these players are the reason why I think Chelsea are going to be fourth place. But don't get me wrong, this is not going to be a fourth place where they are sitting there the entire Premier League. It's not going to be that. Chelsea are going to fight for every single moment, but they are just going to come up short. They're going to get Champions League, no doubt about it. They are the club World Cup champions for a reason. They're a talented side. I just feel like next season, if they're able to go into the transfer window and get some experience, because they have this whole thing about 25 years and under, which is brilliant. It's a brilliant strategy because it has worked so far. And they're banking on the idea that these 25-year-olds and under would absolutely have a boom all of a sudden at the same time. That's what they're banking on. But that's a really hard thing to be able to do in the Premier League. They're doing the whole idea of sink and swim for the players they sign. Because that's why are they signing or trying to sign Garnacho? Because that's what they do. That is what they do. They sign talent They see if you swim or you sink. And if you sink, they sell you. If you swim, you stay in the squad. And even then, if they get a better player, a better player than you, they sell you. Because Jackson swam. Jackson was a talented player, giving them at least double digits of goals. But guess what? He's out of the race. He's probably going to go to Newcastle. And that is why I think Chelsea is going to be that situation. Manchester City are going to come third in my predictions. Why are they going to come third? I think there's a lot of dark clouds hanging over Manchester City. Of course, the 115. There's no, there's no, there's no denying that part. That is a cloud that is definitely going to be crazy. I also think this is going to be the last year of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. And one thing that I've known for a fact is that those situations, those emotions, him trying his best to revamp the team, him doing a new idea of him becoming, going back into the traditional fullback style, them not having a right back because Kyle Walker has left, and Kyle Walker right now is playing for Burnley. Them not having a pacey right back or a pacey defender. All those things are things that he has depended on for a long time. And we have absolutely been seeing, especially last season, that people in the Premier League have started seeing cracks in this system and how they can absolutely um how they can basically take advantage of those cracks. We have seen it. It's not even a joke at this point. You understand? We have seen it. It's crystal clear. But like my heart says, nobody knows for fact. It's not a guarantee right now. Manchester City can come back and be the best thing because don't get me wrong, they have one of the best midfields in the Premier League, if not the best midfield in the Premier League. Let's break it down a little bit. Liverpool might be the one arguably having a better midfield than Manchester City. Well, let's look at it. Midfield in Liverpool, we're looking at Gravenberch, Dominic Soboslai, and Florian Wirtz. Or maybe instead of Soboslai, we're looking at McAllister. Now let's look at Manchester City's midfield. You're looking at Rodri, Gianni Reinders. I love that name, by the way. If you did not know, he was named after a Nigerian player, and it was brilliant. When I knew that that's the story of why he got the name Tijani, it was breathtaking to me. I just all of a sudden supported him from there. But you have Rodri, a Ballon d'Or winning. Bear in mind, yes, he's coming back from an ACL injury, a really bad injury, but he's still Rodri. He just needs time to basically get back to form and get back to speed. And then you have Tijani Reinders, one of the most underrated midfielders in the world football. He honestly does not get the the applauders that he deserves. He honestly doesn't. What he does for AC Milan, what he did for AC Milan, breathtaking. The goals he can score, the arriving late, the understanding of being the three assists. So that means like being the guy to pass the ball to the person that makes the assist. His ability to find passes where people are not looking. His creativity. Now that I've even mentioned creativity, they also have somebody called Ryan Cherky, someone that I've literally bragged about having, honestly, every single pass in his locker in the final third. I'm even going to say it. When it comes to the type of passes that he can be able to do in the final third, he is better than Kevin De Bruyne. The type of passes, every single type of pass in every technical range you think about, Ryan Cherky has that. and even better than De Bruyne. And we all know how successful De Bruyne was. Legendary status, one of the best midfielders ever to be played in the Premier League. That is giving Ryan Cherky the most compliment that I can. Comparing him to the likes of KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, is one of the highest compliments I can give a midfielder. But that is what he has in his locker. I wanted him at Manchester United so much because I understood that we might be losing Bruno Fernandes next year. And he would be a worthy successor to Bruno. But he went to the noisy neighbors. And that's fine. And in second place, I'm going for Liverpool. Yes, I know. They have had one of the best transfer windows ever that I have seen. Like this is competing with the window that Real Madrid had with Kaka coming in, with Cristiano, with Bale, with Benzema. You understand? This season, Liverpool's transfer window is competing with what Real Madrid have done in the past. The likes of getting Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkesh, Mabashbani in the goalkeeping position. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And guess what? Leonie is going in, the defender, the 18-year-old defender that absolutely bullied Lukaku. You also have Matt Gahey in advanced talks to Liverpool. They have had one of the best transfer, and I know I'm making the case for them being champions. I'm not saying it wrong. They are absolutely going to be challenging for the title. I just feel, I just honestly feel that this is going to be the transitional moment that Arne Slot is going to have. The Arne Slot that we saw that wasn't going through that last season and winning the transfer or winning the Premier League, I feel like he's going to have that transition this year. Because now that he has won the Premier League, now that this team is fully his, I think that he is going to continue trying to put his ideas into a club team, and that alone will slow them down. Talk less of the idea of the amount of changes that are coming into the Liverpool team. The amount of changes is so much that I believe is going to slow them down. I truly believe, and I know it's crazy to think about that Liverpool doing all this in the market will be slowed down because of the amount of changes. But I'm trusting, I'm telling you, it takes a while for a team with this amount of literally, I'm telling you, literally 45% of this Liverpool team is new. 45% of this Liverpool team is new, especially the first 11. The front line is totally changed. Because if they go in and actually get Alexander Isak, that makes it even worse. Don't get me wrong, Alexander Isak is a Premier League proven striker. So he's going to come in and hit the ground running. But guess what is going to happen? They're going to move Hugo Ekitike to the left-hand side. Cody Gakpo goes to the bench. And now you have a front three that all wants to score goals, a front three that all understands and has the ability to take it on by themselves. We already saw an example in the Community Shield with Hugo Ekitike. So it's going to be a very, very hard place for that front three. And then you look in the midfield, the arrival of Florian Wirtz, the fight, the lack of balance in the midfield, because it's going to be crazy. How the balance that they had last year was the beautiful um mistake that they stumbled upon. Gravenberg. Somebody that is able to take the ball from the back line and dominate and pass the ball to his midfield and his attacking. Link the play between the defense and the attack. And then you have McAllister, the brilliance of McAllister, the creative of McAllister, understanding that he needs to just keep it simple. And you had the legs of Soboslai, somebody that can do the donkey work, somebody that brings physicality in the midfield. That was the balance. But now they have brought in creativity, a creativity that would want to understand that I need to conserve my energy to when the ball is in my feet, is on my feet. That's the creativity that is going to then literally unbalance the side. Don't be shocked if you see McAllister on the bench more often. And them going with the likes of Soberslai and Gravenbeck, and of course Florian Wirtz. So this team is definitely not the finished product. It is not the finished product. And I know that's crazy to even talk about. That's crazy to even think about. But then let's look at the final part. The final part of this is the champions of the 2025-2026 season. And that is Arsenal. Arsenal. I believe Arsenal has everything it takes to win the league this year. Arteta has done the big stuff. And there's this style of lifestyle that I think I've read in a book. Is it 25 something diary of a CEO or something like that? 25 rules of the diary of a CEO. Stressing about the small things leads to the big trophies. And you can literally see that Ateta has started stressing about the little things, making sure that the little things are adding up. A lot of people are laughing at Ateta because he brings loudspeakers in the training. But that has worked. Arsenal players are not scared to go into anybody's team to play their style of football. It has worked. Now they have literally taken out the tent that the players walk under into the Emirates for them to be able to intimidate away fans or away players. And I'm telling you, it's going to work. Those little things adds up to some massive gain. But guys, let me know what you guys think about this situation. This is my predicted lineup or my predicted finish of the Premier League table. It is going to be Arsenal, champions of England. It is then going to be Liverpool second place, Manchester City third, Chelsea fourth, Manchester United fifth, Aston Villa seventh, Newcastle eighth, West Ham ninth, Brighton 10th, Everton 11th, Brentford 12th, Bournemouth 13th, Nottingham Forest 14th, Crystal Palace 15th, Fulham 16th, Wolverhampton Wanderers 17th, 18th Leeds, 19th Sunderland, and 20th Burnley. Let me know what you guys think about this situation because it is big, man. It is big. It is a big situation. It is a tough one, but I'm excited to see what the Premier League is. The Premier League is going to be starting tomorrow, people. Are you not entertained? Are you not excited? And I'm just telling every single person, if you're a loved one, do not disturb me because the Premier League has started. Do not disturb me because the Premier League is here. And if you want me to go out with you on Friday, make sure there is a TV for me to watch my team. If you're having a birthday, I'm bringing my phone and my game is going to be playing. So do not get offended. You get me? So guys, let me know what you guys think about this video right now. Hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We are on our way to 10,000 on TikTok. The show is Pillar Sports. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, turn on your notifications so you do not miss out on anything that we do here on Pillar Sport. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much. You guys have a lovely day.